In the city of Al-Fahim, this is the city where the two terrorists came from on Sunday, and all the people that have been arrested are those that are, let's call it, ISIS sympathizers. Is this reason enough to be arrested? A very controversial question. On the one hand, we saw just in the past week 2 attacks carried out by ISIS sympathizers. So there's a lot of criticism on the Israeli security establishment. Why weren't these people arrested in advance? But you need a reason to arrest. As controversial as it may be, sympathizing with ISIS, is that a good enough reason to arrest someone? A big question there. And let's remember, we're not dealing with the West Bank where there is a military martial law. These are Israeli citizens. Is the state allowed, under which law, which rule is the state allowed to take Israeli citizens and put them in some kind of custody or arrest simply because they sympathize with an idea, as evil as it may be? This is a difficult legal question, but the Israeli police, the Israeli security establishment, especially after we saw these 2 terrible attacks over the past few weeks, is not waiting for the legal questions. First and foremost, taking these people into custody, because we've already seen twice in the past week what may happen if those steps are not taken in advance.
Yeah, here we have 6 Israelis killed in the last week here by at least ideological supporters of the Islamic State. These last 2 heavily armed, coming into organized for the security services. Then now, given what we're seeing, this controversial tactic being used against Israeli citizens, administrative detention, the Islamic State is deemed a big threat. Are we led to believe that this is now a major issue for the state?
The Islamic State is deemed as a threat. Again, not for the existence of the State of Israel. This is not Hezbollah we're dealing with, but this is an idea which infiltrates into the minds of people and which may take action. And again, once we're speaking of Israeli citizens, what is known here in Israel as those who carry a blue ID, blue is the color of the Israeli ID, they're free to travel anywhere, and they're more difficult to track. We constantly say that when the Israeli security agency is so well entrenched in the West Bank that they know before someone even dreams of carrying out an attack, the Israeli security agency is aware of that. It's a different issue when we're speaking of Israeli citizens. There's a different law. How much can the ISA, the Israeli security agency, spy on Israeli citizens? We now understand that there is a need. We saw these 2 attacks claiming the lives of 6 Israelis carried out by other Israeli citizens, sympathizers of ISIS. Therefore, we understand that there is a need to take action, even if it is Israeli citizens. How long will Israel be able to keep them in detention? That is under arrest. That's another question. A very complicated issue there.
I'm certainly about to see this issue tested or maybe pushed this week as this issue coming to bear now. But and you touched on this, the Palestinian arena, obviously such a major sector of concern here, given all this unrest, given these attacks. What's happening across the West Bank or in Gaza for that matter?
I think if there's some organization which is very happy with what is happening is Hamas. This is clearly the tactic they want to apply. The Gaza border is as quiet as it has been maybe for years. Completely quiet. Hamas not giving Israel any excuse to act in Gaza, but Hamas making sure through incitement, through social media, to incite the Arabs within Israel, the Israeli Arabs, trying also to do the same in the West Bank. But in the West Bank, again, we said the Israeli security agency and the army strongly operating there. It's a different story with Israeli citizens. An interesting thing, Hamas celebrating twice actions taken by ISIS supporters. This is perhaps a chance for those dealing with the Israeli way of explaining things, trying to perhaps connect ISIS with Hamas.